Well, as you can see, we're back again with the Boxster, and again, it's not running right. We fixed the MAF sensor, we've did a fuel filter change on it, and still not running right. What's next? We need to do a fuel pressure test to see if our fuel pump is actually pumping correctly and giving us enough fuel to run the motor right. So let's see what we can find out. If you guys would just take a moment and like and subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys. All right, so the problem we're having is that sometimes, even when cold, the Boxster will not start. It just cranks and cranks and cranks and cranks. So we got to figure out what's going on. We've replaced the fuel filter, we've replaced the mass airflow sensor, the MAF, and still we're having issues. We've done the smoke test. We know there's no intake leaks. So we want to now test for the CPS, or the crank position sensor. And how you can tell if that's working or not is when you turn on the ignition, your tach, if it goes up one little notch, say to 200 while cranking, that means your CPS is working. So let's see what happens. And count that oil down real quick. Looks good. Here we go. Okay, so we notice it ticking, so our CPS is fine, and the car is running fine now, but let's check out that fuel pressure. Let's find out what's going on with that. And so how to do that is we'll shut this back off. So first thing we have to do is we got to get the top up into service mode so we can get to the engine. And if you don't know how to get your car into service mode to be able to see the engine, I'll put a link right up in here somewhere on that video to watch. So let's get that done, and then let's head back inside and let's check out what tools we'll need to find out what our fuel pressure is. All right, so looking at kind of the layout, those are your fuel rails right in there. That is your pressure, fuel pressure regulator right there. And then right here on the passenger side for us American guys, there is like a bicycle pump tire tube, that little air nozzle that has a cap on it. That is where you can test your fuel pressure at. So we have this, and it looks like with the engine off, it should be 3.8 bars, plus or minus 0.2, which is around 55. And then with the engine idling, it should be at 3.3 or around 48. Again, plus 3 minus 3. The tool we're going to use is a fuel pressure gauge. That kind of looks like this. And again, this is in PSI, so we have the conversions, so we're good. And the other side of this thing, which is right here, see, it kind of looks like a air pump. So that just goes and gets screwed on, and then we'll take it. So let's go find the port, this one right here, on our 2001 Porsche Boxster. All right, so here we are on the passenger side. We have everything open. And right down in here, right there, that thing right there. Reach in. Take that off. Right there. Now inside here, see down in there, there's a black, get that to focus again for us. There's a black O-ring down in there. So you might want to pick one of these up. They're a little pricey, about 10 bucks. But that little O-ring is what matters. And then back to here, that's when to hook up that fuel pressure gauge. So let's get that on. All right, so there's our fuel pressure gauge. Here's our little, and then right down in there, and we're just gonna put these two together. It is now on, and there was a little bit of fuel that leaked out of that, but that's okay. Go ahead and hit this. Is your plurge valve. Okay, still nothing. Let's go start it up and see what happens. Make sure this line here, which is for the excess fuel, make sure it's hanging off to the side. There we go. Let's go start it up. All right. So that's on. Let's see what it says. Okay. It's showing here a little under 10. Let's go fire it up. While running, it is showing about 22 pounds. Remember, it should be up to nearly 50. So it's at almost half of what it should be. Let's give this a minute to warm up and we'll give some other tries. So leave an island for a little bit here. And you can see it's moving. So, if you pull the vacuum line, that's your fuel pressure regulator, and that little elbow right there, that is your vacuum line for it. If you pull that, if this is bad, it should shoot up. The PSI should shoot up really high. If it's working right, it's not going to do anything. Just make it in there and pull that out. I went ahead and removed the air filter so I can get my hands back in here. Okay, it's off. And no change. No change. So we know our fuel pressure regulator is not the problem. And now we're just going to wait a little bit and see if we see any gas that comes out. Okay, she is not quite up to temp. Only been idling for about 5 minutes. But let's give her a little bit of gas. And let's see if we can look at that fuel pressure gauge now. Okay, I'm gonna rev it back up to about 2,000. See, it doesn't want to. At 2,000 RPM, it's at 20. No change. About 2,500. It's bucking hard now. And then it evens itself back out. And then we're up to about 25 PSI. So she's been idling for about 15-20 minutes and we're still at that 20. So that's about half of what we should have. I'm definitely thinking we have a fuel pump on its way out. But there's one more thing we can check, and that is going to be the fuel pump relay, which is underneath the passenger, or I'm sorry, the driver's footwell down in the fuse box and relay panel. So I've been letting the car sit for about 30-some minutes, and I came out to check on it, and look at that. It's now at like 48 PSI sitting. Interesting. Well, looks like we're gonna need a new fuel pump for this thing. So we're gonna see if we can run over to autohouseaz.com. That's here locally in Phoenix, and pick up a new fuel pump for the Boxster. and put that in our next video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And remember to visit the new website, 986brotherhood.com. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.